Good morning, trade pros. Top of the day to everyone in trade pro land. I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to the morning, a wonderful start to the day. It is a new day, it is a new opportunity, and we're gonna get right at it today with the updates for the day, and then everything's working again on my tech side. So I'm gonna turn around and then also do some screen share and trade planning with you guys together. Okay. Let's start it out like this. Risk mood is still fragile in today's market, in today's session. Global equities under pressure a little bit. Euro stocks down almost a percentage point. ES was down, recovered some of the gains. NQ was down as well, but relatively flat at the moment. Dollar stands firm at 100.25 as risk tone kind of stays on the cautious side there. All right. And gold and oil rebound quite modestly, both about 0.7%. Bitcoin down near 101,000. It's not down 101,000. It's trading near 101,000. Ethereum down almost 6%. Seems like every day crypto's getting hit. It's officially in a bear market now, by the way, down 20%. If it were a stock, it would be called a bear market correction, or it would officially be in a bear market. Most bear markets last 20 to 50% in stocks. You know, for crypto, that number is much, much different. But it's just something notable to mention. All right. Tariffs and trade, of course, take center stage again. Supreme Court starts hearing Donald Trump's case, his tariff case today, and that's going to continue to develop. The big news and the headline of today's morning market update is that China, that's not the big one, but still, this is still quite important. China suspends 24% of U.S. tariffs for 1 year and keeps 10% base rate. So China's kind of reducing tariff rates on the United States, which is, you know, a good tone, good message, and supportive of hopefully inking and getting an actual trade deal done with China and signed and on paper. You know, I think that's already kind of priced into the market, this positivity around tariff and trade with China. A deal would sort of just solidify it. I don't think the market reacts much to it at this point. Maybe up a little bit, maybe it rebounds a little off the lows. But I don't think it's already kind of priced in, okay? After the meeting in APEC summit that occurred with the discussion with President Xi and President Trump, it's kind of there now. We've reached the promised land with that. All right. U.S. blocks NVIDIA chip sales to China, and Beijing bans foreign AI chips in state data centers. You know, that's a big thing overnight. That kind of puts a lot of pressure on tech companies, a lot of the leaders and chip makers that mostly drive the market on the tech front nowadays. All right, that's big. Trump meets with Swiss officials on trade imbalance. India talks positive. More trade updates. You know, there isn't really much, to be honest with you, big events around the wires today. Tech is lagging again after China's chip restrictions. You know, it hit stocks like NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel. You know, they're down a little bit in pre-market. Bonds are holding firm. ADP jobs came out this morning. That's a big one, and we're going to get into that right now. So in lieu of the non-farm payrolls report, which is the most important jobs number that gets released on a monthly, almost always, mostly on the first Friday of the month, but it's a governmental agency that runs the report. It's called the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the BLS. And because the government shut down, that agency shut down. So we haven't had a look at jobs in quite some time now. We're going to miss one full month of data. But ADP is a payroll company. They cut the checks for people. They're private. They got us covered. All right. Here's the ADP number. It came out at 8:15 in the morning today, which is typical. It usually comes out 8:15 in the morning of the week, on the Wednesday of the week before non-farm payrolls, which reminds us non-farm payrolls should be on Friday, but we're not going to get them. Even if the government magically reopens today, which now, by the way, government shutdown is the longest it's ever been. This one takes the cake and number one for the longest, I think 37 or 36 days. But even if the government were to somehow magically open up today in the United States and the Bureau of Labor and Statistics was summoned back to work, they still wouldn't be able to print the report in time. So this report is going to go miss. We're going miss for the first full official month because of the government shutdown. And ADP comes out on the Wednesday before the Friday, and it's usually not as important. It's just kind of like an early look at what could be the scenario. But this month, this is all we're going to get. I'm reading reports that even when the government reopens, they're not going to go back and fill the months that they missed because there's systems and procedures that are in place that are require the staff to maintain the numbers. So they're going to just call it a hole in the chart. All right. So because of that, ADP numbers are somewhat important. Here's how it came out for October: 42,000 jobs created. All right, versus an expectation of 28,000 jobs. That's huge. That's a big beat, almost 2 to 1, not quite. Maybe 1.5 to 1. All right. The prior was 32 jobs lost in September, and the revision to the prior was actually they're saying, oh, you know what? We miscounted. It was 3,000 jobs less that were lost, so it's minus 29,000. But this is a good number. It's minus 29 prior. All right. The expectations for plus 28,000 jobs this month, and it comes out at 42,000. So that's a strong labor market update. All right, strong jobs number, which is supportive of what Powell's doing and is about to do. So that feeds into the Federal Reserve and the expectations for December rate cut. All right. Well, that's where we're at on the news front, on economic news. Not so much, but not so little either. Commodities front, by the way, WTI, which is oil, near $61. Gold rebounds as well. That's that. All right. In today's options markets, I looked at the expiries that are upcoming. We have a put wall at 66.95, which is a little bit away from where we are at the moment. Secondary support around 66.05 to 66.40. That's even further away, but that's the downside protection number that we're looking for. All right. On the call wall, or the upside resistance, heaviest volumes between 67.60 to 68.60. I know that's 100 points, but the most notable spike is 6,800. That's the one we have to watch. That one's huge. Okay. And 68.50 is the next big one. All right. Current price sitting at 67.94. And as of right now, we broke through that. We're at 68.05 quarter. So we broke above the 6,800 level. But let's see what happens on the open, because pre-market, there's not much volume happening. It's not much pressure being applied in any direction. All right. That's that. That's what we got. Now I'm going to turn around. I'm going to give you my levels, give you the trading plan, and wrap up the day and answer some comments. Let's rock and roll. I'm going to turn around now, okay? And share the screen as well. Morning, MS. Hopefully you're doing good, sir. Oh, here we are. I spun around the camera, and it's great when things work as you expect them to. Hallelujah. Let's get this going. All right. What am I going to do? Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you this chart. This is kind of the last couple days. All right, this is the run to the all-time high. Okay, we got close. 69, what was it, like 55-ish on this new high, and then we broke the structure of the prior low. So now we've basically been putting in higher highs, okay, and higher lows. And where that brings us at the moment in today's price action is, hang on. Where that brings us is a new lower low here, overnight session. This is an LL, so we'll call this a lower low. All right, and you could see these lower lows have been forming. So again, that's a bearish development in the market. So this pullback overall is kind of confirmed to be continuing. The big level today that I'm watching, okay, here's the levels overall. Prior day high, 68.49 quarter. So that's a great number to have. That becomes an automatic target. In yesterday's session, we were saying we're looking to buy off the open, for some buy stops. That was our favorite trade. We got that trade. We did really good in the room. I think 80% of our live capital traders were positive in the trading room, which was a fantastic number. We got what we were looking for the run up, and we were saying the 50 would sort of be a resistance. We missed that by 3 ticks of a point. The reason was resistance, a prior low. And also we had some volume profile work and auctions down there up there that acted as resistance. So the call for the day went pretty good yesterday, and we traded it pretty good. It was a good day. Today where we're at is, the price closed near the open. So yesterday it rallied, the rally failed, and then we sort of closed where we started. Now, the way that yesterday was, that rally overnight was to be tested on the open, is how I think today's price action is going to go. Because yes, you gave up a good rally, but you also weren't able to extend lower on the U.S. session. You see that? This yellow is like the span of the U.S. session. Everything else, yellow, U.S., everything else outside of that is overnight session. you'll notice the overnight session moves more than the US session. Don't tell anyone I told you that. That's how it goes. It's been like that for almost a decade now. If you actually, I haven't done an updated thing of this number, but in 2022, I think, was the last update. If you take all the gains in the US session or all the price move in the US session and add it up, you get 0%, no movement. Whereas if you take all the after hours moves, that's where the gains have happened in the market. Mind-blowing stat. Not updated. I don't know if that still holds to be true. So here's the plan then. The plan is, you are looking for, even if we rally up to like the 30, we could still put a lower high in and go for a lower low. But I will say this, it feels like this trend to the downside is eventually going to reverse. We're in a bull market. Is this going to be the point it reverses? I'm starting to think it might be, but I'm not 100% certain, and no one can be. So therefore, the trade for today is looking at the 15, upwards of the 15 as a transition zone. That to me is like my flip zone level. If I could draw straight or something like that, like somewhere in here, it trails off the more right I go. Above there, you're going to see a run up for that 50 again, and I think it could terminate this downside trend. The reason being is, we had a downside push and recovery overnight. If this morning on the open we don't push down aggressively and hard and just keep pressing this thing, then I think it's done. I think above the 15, we start looking for the long opportunity for some longer term buy stops, initially up to the 49 area, and then maybe tagging 6,900 even would be good. But I think 68.80 to 85 is also a level to watch. 1 second. I don't know if that muted the mic or not. I hit mute and then I coughed. I think you heard it. Okay, so yeah, that's what we got. If we stay below the 15, I'll be happy to try one more short to the downside. So to me, that entire trade today develops around 15. All right, we can either short there or buy it, depending on how it looks, first of all, and how the order flow looks and how the morning opens up. So that's kind of the plan for today's session. Watch it. And, heed some caution as well into that level. And I'm going to show you one more thing. I don't know if you saw Streamlabs. You may have seen Streamlabs. It's not the thing I wanted to show you. Neither was that. This is what I want to show you. Now, of course, I don't know if you see it because I had to minimize Streamlabs. Hopefully you can. Let me move this off the page. There we go. Now, yeah, you're seeing it. I could see that you could see. You're seeing what I'm seeing. All right. From a TPO perspective, like yesterday we had, 2 or 3 days ago, we had some downside to break out of this range here, right? Value migrates lower, then value matches it. And then today we have value migrating lower, but it's not really continuing down. Look, could we go lower? We can. Let me zoom out a little bit. All right. But there's a great deal of support that we've just traded through. Look at all these value areas here. I'm just doing this with a trackpad. That's why it's not straight. I'm wondering why. I'm like, why am I struggling? Because I'm using a Mac trackpad. That's why. All right, so here, much better with the mouse. We come into this area, we test it. That's a pretty big support from like middle of October. Then if we do sneak lower, we could get down to 67.20. We almost got there. All right, but I think overall we're ready to make a little bit of a rally upward and to call this retracement maybe potentially done. All right. I know I said it a little bit loud, but we've just traded into an area where there's a lot of support and we bounce right off of it. Okay. So next few days are pivotal. I'll tell you that much. But today I'm going to start with the idea that the overnight sell-off lower reversed and it caught a lot of attention. All right, from traders to the upside. So let's see if the upside can continue. And if it can't, then we'll just get on the short side. And 68.15 is that level for me today that is going to give me the drive to either direction. You guys have any questions or comments? So that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Call it a day. I'm just looking for some of these delta levels here. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to show you from yesterday. The biggest sell block was up here. The biggest sellers of of the day occurred around the 36 half. So that's the area to look for. And then again, the 15 was huge volume. Big volume, big imbalances, big paper stuck here at the 15. It's a very big level. That's why I'm using the 15. It's actually more of an order flow level than it is a structure or technical level. All right. Hey, if you have no questions, I'm going to say this. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have yourself a wonderful rest of the day. We're going to open up the trading room now and then just execute the plan that I just told you about in real time with our members. We have Victorio screen sharing his auction market theory volume profile strategy. I stream my live share, my order flow stuff as well. So we go and just get active. I hope to see you guys in there in the room. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow morning for the morning market update, Thursday edition, November 6th. Love you guys so much. Have a great day and good luck in the markets. Take care. Goodbye.